Hi learners, welcome to the today's topic. Our today's topic is classification of data mining system, and I'll cover the related questions from the question bank. Myself Priyanka Gupta, I am working as assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering Data Science at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So I'm going to cover what is classification related questions are there, what is data mining related questions are there, what is the classification of data mining systems are there. So we will have some question and we will get some solution for that. So first question is define data mining. So what is data mining? Data mining is a process of extracting. We have to take the data. We have to know about the different patterns. So extracting, we can say mining of the knowledge. Knowledge is nothing but the information from the database, from the huge amount of data. So huge amount of data will be the data warehouse. So data mining is nothing but that is a process of extracting, or we can say mining, some of the knowledge from huge amount of data. Second question is, what are the types of knowledge to be mined? So what types of knowledge we have to mine while we are applying data mining? So there can be the characterization, there can be the discrimination, there can be association, classification, prediction, clustering, outlier analysis, and any other data mining task what we want to apply on that. So these are the techniques we have to find out while we are going to do the data mining. Next, third question is, what is the task of data mining? So a data mining task can be defined in the design of a data mining query. So while as a we can say data miner, we have to write the data query. We have to write the query for the particular problem. So what will be there? What will be behind that? So that is nothing. To get that, we have to apply data mining techniques. So data mining task can be defined in the design of data mining query, which is the input to the data mining systems. Next, a data mining query is represented in the conditions of data mining task primitives. So some of the rules of sets will be there. Some of the set of rules will be there to get that query, to write that query. So on that condition, that will be query will be written on that. These are the primitives we can say that will be enabled, that will be working with the user with the mutually connection with the data mining system. So as what are the query we have to write, that will totally that will be interconnected with the enable user. So during the discovery of directly mining process, we can say test the findings from the multiple phases. So the all primitives that will be able to work while the user will know about the data mining technique, while he or she they are going to mine the system. The task of data mining will be as follows. What will be the data mining task? In brief, so first it is divided into a set of task relevant data to be mined. So what is task relevant? What task is there? If they have to go, if the data miner have to go for some specific pattern, so they have to understand about that particular domain, and then they have to go for that task relevant data. So then the data can be mined. So this is going to define the portion of the database as well as a set of information in which user will be concerned. So that will be only, we can say task oriented, that will be basically domain oriented. So this is going to involve the database attributes as well as the data warehouse dimensions. So dimensions are nothing but that is also the attribute of interest that is defined as a relevant attributes, we can say that is also called as a dimension. So the first task mining were there, the data task mining were there. We have to set the task oriented data. Next is the kind of knowledge to be mined. So what is the type of that particular database? What is the type of that particular database? And on that we have to mine that knowledge from that we have to go we have to go through. Then this defines the data mining functions to be operated, as well as that including the all the we can say techniques that were association, correlation, classification, discrimination, prediction. So what are these? We have to apply these of the functions on that data. So that is simply a knowledge to be mined. Third is the background knowledge to be used in the discovery. So what is the background of that particular task? So that a data miner have to know about, then he can go through with the discovery of the pattern. So the knowledge about the domain to be mined, and that is going to help directly to find out about the knowledge discovery process, and then they can compute, they can analyze that data. Concept hierarchy will be the famous form of background knowledge, because in the while they have to use the concept hierarchy, they will graphically they will able to understand all the database related to that. So which is going to enable the data to be mined, and several methods of abstraction. So there will have the logical view of that. We can have the all the database view there. So that will be the abstraction part of that. Next will be the interestingness of the measures and threshold for the pattern evaluation. So pattern evaluation is nothing but the pattern we have to find out. What will be the we can say process will be there to find out that pattern. So they can be used to guide the mining process, or we can say after discovery to compute the discovered patterns. So what are the patterns or knowledge the data miner have get, on that they have to guide the mining process. Multiple type of knowledge can be used there, can have the different interesting measures. So if suppose in the data warehouse they will have the different type of data, right? Different formats of data. If we have to mine that data from the particular domain, or we can say for the particular measure for the specific pattern, so we can have the multiple type of formats, but in that we have to find out the pattern, interesting pattern or knowledge. So that will be very, very interesting, as well as that will be tough also to fetch the knowledge from that. So that next is the expected representation for visualizing the discovered pattern. So here the visualization process will go take that is going to take place. This is going to represent the form in which that will be what we are discovering the patterns, that will be presented, that will be in the form of graphical representation. So which we can have in the rule in the form of rule, in the form of table, in the form of graph, decision tree cubes. So that will be represented graphically. So these are the few examples to represent that we can say data, that pattern. So in the form of rule we can represent that table, in the form of table, in the form of chart, graphs, decision tree, and many data cubes. That was the multi-dimensional cube. Now fourth question is, list the 5 primitives for specification of a data mining task. So what will be the primitive of that while we are going to do the data mining task? So first will be the task relevant data. First we have to go through with the task relevant data. What is the task, especially what is the domain? So we have to go through with the domain. Second, kind of knowledge to be mined. So that will depend on the what type of data that we have to mine. That always depend on that data type. So that format also will be interesting. Format will be lengthy and complex. Third will be the background knowledge. Background knowledge is nothing but we have to go through with the concept hierarchy process. We can have the logical view of that particular pattern. Next will be the interestingness measure. So that is, in that we have to go through with the type of nature of the data, and then we will have we will get the interesting patterns. On the basis of that, we have to apply the different measures. Next will be the knowledge presentation in the form of visualization by the visualization techniques to be used for the displaying that discovered patterns what we have got from the data mining. So these were the 5 important primitive types of data mining tasks. So with the data mining basics, these were the some questions. Now we will take the classification part of data mining. So what are the classification of data mining system? Data mining is nothing but that is an interdisciplinary field that is going to confluence of a set of discipline, including the database system that is having the machine learning, statistics, visualization and information science. So moreover, we can see depending on the data mining techniques approach that we are going to use, the techniques from other disciplines we can also apply on that. So what is discipline? That is nothing but the subject area, that is domain area. So from the other, here we have seen like here statistics we are using, yeah, right? So from the statistics, what are the statistical measures are there? On the basis of that also we can do the mining. Next, if we will talk about the machine learning, so we have to train that particular, we can say machine. So on the basis of that, we can say data set, we will able to get the future trends, future patterns. Next will be the neural network. On the basis of that brain-like structure, we have to give all the inputs and we will have the deep knowledge of, we will get the deep knowledge of that particular input. We can also use the fuzzy logic, we can also use the rough set theory, we can also use the knowledge representation in the form of visualization, we can include the logic programming, we can also perform the computing. So high performance computing we can also apply. So these are the few approaches we can apply while we are going to do the data mining. Depending on the kind of data to be mined, we can say on the data mining application, the data mining system that will be integrated with the spatial data analysis, information retrieval, pattern recognition, image analysis. So all the data related to the, while it will be pattern, while it will be image, while it will be signal processing, while it will be the computer graphics, web technology, in economy, business, bioinformatics. So these are the all field, psychology. So the all field will be included and that. Data mining systems can be categorized according to the different criteria that we have taken care here. So what were the criteria here? So on the basis of that, first will be the classification according to the kind of database mined. So a data mining system can be classified that according to the kind of database we are going to mine. So on the basis of the domain specific data, task oriented data, we will be able to know about the data, and then on the basis of that we are going to do the data mining. Database system can be also classified according to the different criteria. We can say there will be the data model, we can say types of data, what are the application we actually needed, what are the application involved there. So each of which that is going to require a data mining technique. So data mining techniques can be classified according to these of the few criteria. Next will be the classification according to the kind of knowledge mined. So that is same as earlier. The kind of knowledge the data mining system can have categorized on the basis of data mining functionality. So what is data mining functionality? Classification, discrimination, characterization, association, correlation, prediction, clustering, outlier analysis, evaluation analysis. On the basis of this, the kind of knowledge will be represented. A comprehensive data mining system that will be usually provides multiple, or we can say integrated data mining functionality. So these were the single functionality will be there, but if we will have the large database, there also can be the combination of that integrated data mining functionality. Classification according to the kinds of techniques utilized. So what is this? Data mining system can be categorized according to the underlying data mining techniques. So what are the data mining techniques we are applying? On the basis of that, we are going to mine the data. These techniques can be described according to the degree of user interaction. So what is the interaction of the user with that particular application? We can say if autonomous system is there, if interactive exploratory system is there, query driven any system is there, so they will be more specific to the user communication. So we have to communicate with the user frequently. So on the basis of that, methods of data analysis that will be employed, that will be going to describe the mine that particular data. A sophisticated data mining system will going to use the multiple data mining techniques, that is going to work out an integrated techniques that is going to combine the betterment of the individual approach. So we can have the we can say the combination of techniques we can also apply. Fourth will be the classification according to the applications adopted. Basically, the data mining techniques can be categorized according to the applications. For the data mining techniques we are going to adopt. For example, data mining system may also be tailored, that also be combined with, especially for finance, with the telecommunication, DNA, medical analysis, stock market, email data, and so on data. So that will be the application that is we are going to use that for data mining. Different application, often they require the integration of application specific method. So if that will be combined, so that there will be the integration of that particular methods. Therefore, if as generic, if I'll say all the group data, all the purpose data mining system, that is that may not fit, that is not going to fit in the domain specific data mining task. So the all purpose data we cannot use, because that will have the different data formats. Next, we came with the visualization. So what is visualization here? Visualization is for depiction of data, that is to gain insights about the data being observed. So what is the data pattern is there? We have found we have to just communicate with it as a in the form of graphical or we can say visual representation. So it is going to assist the analyst to select the display formats, different viewer perspective. They are having the we can say representation schema. They are having the onboard visual applications, tools. So on the basis of that their the data analysts, they are going to help them. Next question is, we have to mention some of the applications in the area of data mining. So where we are using the data mining, basically that is a broad actually, but I am telling you few applications related to that. First is DNA analysis in the medical science, market analysis that is related to the business domain, financial data analysis that is related to the banks, the banking industry, the financial data analysis and banking, that is actually somewhat same. The retail industry, healthcare analysis, healthcare industry, and telecom industry. So these are the few applications are there where we are using the data mining process. Next question is, what is meant by the data discretization? So that the data discretization, it can be defined as a part of data deduction, data reduction. So here we have to reduce the data, but that particular importance is there, that will be for numerical data type. So that is only working for the data numerical type of data. Next question is, what is the discretization process involved in the data pre-processing? So here the data pre-processing, that is nothing but that is a process in which we have to understand about the data, we have to clean the data, we have to we can say rectify that data, we have to make it as a real data, real value data. So that is the process of pre-processing. It is going to reduce the number of value for a given continuous attributes by it is going to dividing the range of attribute into the interval. So if continuous attribute will be there in the data processing, we have to that is for only example that we have to use it as an interval. So interval level can then be used to replace the actual data value. So like this we can reduce the number of values on that for the larger data set. Next question is summarize data reduction strategy using the pre-processing technique. So these are the few pre-processing techniques are there, that data reduction strategy are there for the pre-processing. So first is data reduction. What is data reduction? Since data mining is a technique that is going to handle the huge amount of data, while working with a huge amount of data, we have to reduce the data into the form of some cases. That will be harder if you are using the huge amount of data. So in order to get rid of this, we are going to use the data reduction technique. It is going to aim to increase the storage efficiency as well as reducing the data storage and analyst cost. So computational cost is also going to be decreased. The various systems to the data reduction can be, the first step is data cube aggregation. So here in the aggregation operation that is going to be applied for the construction of a data cube. So that will be the combination of the sum of the dimension in the one dimension. Second will be the attribute subset selection. So in that the highly relevant attribute will be used together. That is going to be used together. That is going to be discarded from the other places. So for performing the attribute selection, one can use the level of significance and p-value of the attribute. So for the each attribute determiner, they have to check for the p-value of the attribute. What is the level of significance of that attribute? The attribute having the p-value greater than the specific significance level, that will be discarded. So on the basis of these few functions, that we are going to remove the data also. Third will be the numerosity reduction. So what is this? This is going to enable the store data that is going to store the model of the data instead of the whole data. So here we are going to use the replication of data instead of the whole data. So on that we are having the example as a regression model. Dimensionality reduction. So what is this? In that we have to reduce the data format as well as the data level. So that is going to reduce the size of the data encoding mechanism. It can be lossy or some of the time lossless. So if after the reconstruction from the compressed data, the original data can be retrieved, in such reduction are called as a lossless data. Else it is called a lossy data if the original data cannot be retrieved. The two effective methods of the dimensionality reduction is wavelet transform. These are the important techniques actually that is hugely uses for these techniques. So the first will be the wavelet transformation. Second will be the PCA, that is principal component analysis. So in that we have to take the wavelets in the data in the form of wavelets and the data in the form of principal component. So one component will be treated as a principal component, important component of that particular data set. Now next question is, what are the foundation of data mining? So there are basically several theories for the basis of data mining. So first is data reduction. So basically the data reduction in this theory, the basis of the data mining will be the reduction of the data representation. So in that, with the data reduction traits, that is going to certainly speeding the response to need of the obtaining the fast approximate answers for the query of the from the large databases. Second will be the data reduction methods. that is including the singular value decomposition, SVD. The driving component behind the principal component analysis is SVD, actually singular value decomposition. The wavelets, the regression, the log linear files, models, the histograms, the clustering, the sampling, the development of index tree. So these are the few reduction methods are there to do the data reduction. Next is data compression. So according to this theory, the basis of data mining is to compress the data, compress the given information that is going to use in the form of bits, that is going to be in the form of association rules, in the form of tree clusters. So that the data compression will be taking place here. Pattern discovery. Pattern discovery in this theory, the basis of the data mining will be finding the different patterns, So either we are going to find the patterns that is going to be appear in that particular database, that is including the what is the association with that pattern, with the attribute, what is the classification model, what is the sequential model are there. So there are numerous areas are there, various areas are there, that is having the machine learning, neural network, association mining, sequential pattern mining, clustering, classification. So like this, several subfields that is going to be contribute with the pattern discovery. Next will be the probability theory. So this is based on the statistical theory, basically. So in this theory, the basis of the data mining will be there to find out the probability distribution of random variable. For example, the Bayesian relief networks, we can say hierarchical Bayesian model. So these were the examples of that theory. Next is microeconomic view. So in that microeconomic view, that is going to consider the data mining as a service of discovering pattern. So that are going to have the use of decision making procedure for some of the enterprises, some of the companies. So in that, for example, they are going to have the marketing approaches and production plans for that. So that will be the microeconomic view of that particular data mining. This view of service in which patterns are considered as interesting if they are based on. So if they will be based on the that particular economy. So enterprise, that will be regarded as facing as an optimization issue where the data will be maximized at the service or value of the decision. So the problem can be occur as an optimization issue. In this theory, data mining becomes a non-linear optimization issue. So next will be the inductive databases. So according to this theory, a database schema including the data and as well as the pattern that are saved in the database, data warehouse. So data mining is a problem of implementing the induction on databases, where the function is to query the information as well as the theory to the databases, theory of the pattern of the databases. So this view is famous for the by the several researchers for the database systems or data warehouse. Next, these theories are not jointly exclusive, because some of the, for example, if pattern discovery is there, that can also be viewed as a design of data reduction. That can be also used as a data compression. So that are not related to that. That is separate. Ideally, a theoretical framework that must be able to model a typical data mining task, that is including the association, clustering and classifications. That is also having the probability measures, that is having the statistical models that will be able to manage the several form of data, as well as they are going to have the interactive essence of data mining. So that next question is, which problems in general the data mining can solve? So which type of problems the data mining is going to be solved? The data mining and information disclosure are developing a critical innovation. So for the that is going to be used in the businesses as well as with the researchers. So for that, data mining is going to form a setup, and that is going to confine a control. So normally that data cannot be maintained, that cannot be faced. So that will be very typical task. So first is poor data quality, such as noisy data. We have to work on this in the form of data pre-processing. So noisy data will be there, missing data will be there, dirty data will be there, inexact data will be there, incorrect data will be there, inadequate data size will be there. So these are the poor presentation of the data sampling. Next is integrating the conflicting, or we can say redundant data is there from the different sources and one from the different forms. So if data will be redundant in nature, if that will be in the different format. So for example, multimedia file will be there, audio, video, images, geodata will be there, text, social and numeric. So these are the few conflict and redundant data can be there. So it is very tough to handle these type of data. Proliferation of the security and privacy concerned by the individual, organization, as well as by the governments. So that will be the security issue, data for the data. There will be the privacy issue for that, by the individuals also, by the organizations also, and by the governments also. Now, the unavailability of data are difficult access to the data. So that it will be the process. It will be the very difficult process how to go for that unavailable data. The efficiency and scalability of data mining techniques, algorithms to that is going to extract the information from the huge amount of databases. Dealing with the huge databases, that is going to require the distributive nature, the data distribution nature. So the data will be distributed in the form of regularly. That will be distributed regularly. So dealing with non-static, unbalanced and cost-sensitive data, that will also comes under that problem. Mining information from the heterogeneous databases and global information system. So that is going to work on the heterogeneous databases. So there will be the different type of data. There will be the different formats data. So mining the data from that information, that will be very tough. The constant updatation of models to handle the data velocity, that is coming as a new incoming data. So that will be the real data, that will be the real time data, that will be the we can say sensitive data. So on that, the data updatation will be there, that data will be going to be upgrade again and again. So high cost of buying and maintaining the powerful software, servers, storage, hardware, and that is going to handle the huge amount of data. Processing of large, complex and unstructured data into the structured format. So that is also a tough work to do that. The sheer quantity of output from the many data mining techniques. So that is also with the difficult to handle that. So that was all about the data mining systems, questions, related questions, and as well as the important terminology. So that was all about today's class. Thank you for watching.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.